Hi, everyone, and welcome to Brian's Horror Corner. I'm your host, Brian, and welcome to day 20 of my 31 horror movies in October Halloween series. Today, we're going to take a look at a recent gory type of film having to do with a villain that I took a look at with an anthology about a week or so ago, a week, 10 days ago. This is his own movie, and that, of course, is Terrifier from 2016 with good old Art the Clown here. So yeah, first time watching Terrifier. Let's just go ahead and get into it, starting with the setup and the premise, and then I'll get into my review, which will be spoiler free. Um, so Terrifier is a 2016 American slasher film written, co-produced, and directed by Damien Leone, who also did the All Hallows Eve movies, or was involved with both of them. The film stars Jenna Cannell, Samantha Scafidi, David Howard Thornton, and Catherine Corcoran. Thornton play Thornton portrays the murderous Art the Clown, who haunts three young women played by Cannell, Scafidi, and Cochran on Halloween. It marks the second feature film appearance of Art the Clown character after Leone's 2013 All Hallows Eve, which incorporated footage from previous short films that were also directed by Leone and featured the character. So basically, we open Monica Brown, a talk show host, interviews a severely disfigured woman who is the sole survivor of a massacre that took place the previous Halloween. Brown mentions that the body of the killer, known only as Art the Clown, disappeared from the morgue, suggesting that he is still alive. However, the disfigured woman insists that she saw him die. After the show, Monica insults the woman's appearance, after which the woman attacks Monica and gouges her eyes out. On Halloween night, two friends, Tara and Dawn, leave a Halloween party and drunkenly wander back to Dawn's car, where they notice a strange man in a clown costume. The man, Art the Clown, follows them into a nearby pizzeria. After a short time, the restaurant owner roughly escorts Art from the premises for smearing his own feces all over the bathroom walls. The girls discover that one of Don's car tires has been slashed, and Tara calls her sister Vicky to come pick them up. While waiting, Tara asks a pet control worker, Mike, if she can enter the derelict apartment building he's working in to use the restroom. Once inside, Tara encounters a deluded woman credited as the cat person who believes the doll she carries is her infant child. Art returns to the pizzeria where he kills and mutilates the two workers before abducting Don. So the main setup and premise of Terrifier. Cast wise, I mentioned before, but we got Jenna Cannell as Tara Hayes, Samantha Scafidi as Victoria Hayes, David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown, of course, reprising his role, Catherine Corcoran as Dawn, and Puya Puya Mohensi as Cat Lady. Oh, that's a fun name to say. Um, so yeah, that's Terrifier from 2016, directed by Damien Leone, and this is an interesting film. It's kind of a mixed bag for me, and I know that's probably more of a personal thing. But we'll just kind of get into it. I have about as many pros as I do cons, and vice versa. So um, let's just kind of get into it. So starting with the pros, just like with All Hallows Eve, you have to start with Art the Clown, played by David Howard Thornton. Once again, he looks terrifying. He's well portrayed by Thornton. He's sinister. He's relentless. He's evil without hesitation. Um, he's definitely the best part of the movie by far, in my opinion. He's just vile and terrifying, and like I said, he just doesn't let up. Um, the violence, the gore, the brutality of the kills are unmatched. I mean, if you're a fan of gore and torture porn type of horror movies, you'll love this movie, quite frankly, because he actually hangs a woman upside down and saws her in half, right between the legs down to the head. So if that gives you any idea, it's a pretty gory film, and it actually looks pretty good while he's doing it too, if I do say so myself. The movie does have a low budget, grainy quality, the same way that All Hallows Eve did when they had the Art the Clown scenes in it, which is pretty terrifying because it makes it more real. It's a pretty effective slasher movie that uses a lot of the tropes and the scenes we've kind of come to expect. It's kind of a comfort food for a lot of people, and this movie certainly does that. I think the score is really solid. It's a really sinister score that really works for this movie. Really adds to the movie overall and gives it a lot of dread for these characters, these human characters. There's a little bit of humor as well in the movie, which I really wasn't expecting. Art the clown being a clown. Um, I found that some of the scenes with him worked. The biggest one, or the one that made me laugh the most, was towards the end of the film when he's doing something pretty sinister to one of the victims, and the police show up and confront Art and tell him to put his arms up, and Art does it in such a way that was just comical to me, where he kind of rolls his eyes and basically annoyed that these cops are stopping him from his work, if you will. Um, just kind of a really annoying look that he has. It's just really funny. It made me laugh out loud. So the film does have a little bit more humor than I expected going into, because I knew it was a gory movie from what I've heard from people, and boy, they were right. But I wasn't expecting the humor aspect to it, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect pretty well to this movie. So those are my pros. As far as cons go, there's not really much of a story here. Again, I know a lot of slasher movies are not known to be deep stories that are going to make you think or anything. It's basically a Halloween night and stumble a couple of drunk gals stumble upon Art the Clown and are stalked by him. I mean, that's the situation, not so much the story. And he kills some victims and some other characters that are brought into it. It's very surface level, not very creative and original. But hey, again, it's a comfort food. It's a slasher movie. Um, the acting's pretty atrocious, to be honest, by everyone except for David Howard Thornton, who portrays Art the Clown. Just very wooden and just bad, especially well, really all the characters, the female characters that were introduced to the two drunks. Um, there's a guy that works at this apartment building that's pretty bad. I mean, it's just bad acting all the way around. The movie tries to be clever by having a character at the end of the movie tie back to the opening scene, and they try to act like it's some big reveal or something. It was the most obvious thing. I knew about 15 minutes into the film that they backtracked to the year before, from the beginning of the movie. So yeah, it doesn't really work there. The characters, other than Art, are completely forgettable and are just there to be killed, just fodder. Doesn't really have it. Doesn't really have the Halloween atmosphere. Again, that's a movie that's taking place on Halloween, but it's done not with any Halloween atmosphere. It's just like in a grungy part of the city, wherever they are, basically, and it all takes place in like a mechanic shop and an apartment building and a pizzeria. I mean, those are your three settings, basically, and again, it could have been any Saturday night throughout the year, really. There's nothing Halloween about it, other than the fact they mentioned that it takes place on Halloween. Um, yeah, it really could have been any of the 365 days of the year, really. But I'm not going to rip the movie too much. It just kind of is what it is, Terrifier from 2016. Like I said, he's the best part of the movie, both the actor, the character, the humor. Um, I'm just not the biggest like torture porn or gore. I don't mind gore as long as there's a point to it and a reason for it. I felt like in this movie it was just kind of there to try to be as outlandish as it could be. Um, but I mean, I'm not offended by gore, but I'm not big on like the hostile movies or anything. Seeing what it looks like to cut up human characters and stuff. I mean, if I wanted to know that, I'd take some biology classes and have gone to college to be a doctor or something, or a biologist. When I want horror movies, I want a little bit more story, a little bit more fright. And even in slasher movies, there's plenty of slasher movies that I enjoy, and this one works on that level. It really does for that. I mean, I'd watch it again. Art the Clown is terrifying and humorous. But overall, for what it is, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. It's just not my thing, really. Just doesn't have the creativity or the Halloween atmosphere I wanted. And I mean, well, some people might find it interesting to see a human being cut in half, basically from their ass area all the way up to their head. I don't know. I could take it or leave it, but 7 out of 10 for me. Go ahead and comment down below, guys, what you think of Terrifier. I just don't really have too much to say about this film, so this will be one of my shorter reviews. It was a good movie to watch for the month of October and preparing for Halloween, not just because it takes place on Halloween, supposedly, but because it does have a very Halloween kind of with Art the Clown. It just kind of feels Halloweeny. Um, so I'll give it that much. But 7 out of 10 for me. Go ahead and comment down below. Tell me what you guys think of Terrifier. If you've seen it from 2016, again, I'd recommend it if you're more into gory horror movies, more into like torture porn movies, like the Hostel movies and some other ones. Um, Go ahead and it's worth a watch for sure, especially this time of the year. But tell me what you think of it. Go ahead and like this video, hit the little notification bell so you can see when my next videos drop. And please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my horror content, including the rest of this 31 horror movie in October series, as well as my television anthology, classic television anthology show that I'll be taking a look at in the month of November here. So that's my review for day 20 of this series, Terrifier from 2016 by Damien Leone. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Stay scared. Bye.